Hello once again, grain traders. I'm meteorologist Sean Sublett for CropProphet, and it's time for the forecast of the forecast discussion for this Friday, June 20th, 2025. The holy grail of weather risk, getting you ready for how the models are going to look on Monday morning. So we begin with the probability that the ECMWF ensemble mean will come in warmer or cooler than normal when you step in on Monday morning. And you've probably heard all about the heat, so not surprisingly here, the model or the forecast of the forecast, the probability that the model is going to come in warmer than normal, pretty high from Iowa and extending all the way back to the middle Atlantic, 80 to 90% likelihood from Iowa down through Illinois and certainly Indiana and the tail end of the Ohio Valley. The model's probably going to come in warmer than normal. Now, interestingly enough, we see a very sharp delineation here because this big bowl of warm air is going to shift to the east, that the model will likely come in cooler than normal for the Dakotas and back down into Nebraska, a 50% or 60% likelihood that it does so. It's all critical right now as we get into these last couple of weeks of June for pollination of corn and how things are going to play out with yields later on down the road. Now, in week 2, the forecast of the forecast ensemble mean still running a 40 to 50% probability of coming in warmer than normal for most of the corn belt as well. Those probabilities back off a little bit, at least with regard to warmth, a little farther southward. In fact, these gray areas actually showing a reasonably strong signal, reasonably 40% that it's going to be just near normal through the tail end of the Ohio and Tennessee valleys and likewise into central Nebraska. Shifting now to precipitation and the probability that the ECMWF ensemble mean comes in wetter or drier than normal for the week 1 forecast, days 1 through 7. And, it has been so wet in a lot of the soybean producing areas across the tail end of the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, especially Kentucky, southern Ohio, southern Indiana. And there's a signal here, 40, 50, 60% chance of the model coming in drier than normal, which would provide some relief there despite the heat. And then narrow ribbon of wetter than normal probabilities extending from the Front Range back through Nebraska, northern Iowa, back into the Great Lakes, let's say the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and Wisconsin. Again, this would provide some relief because the soil moisture in Iowa has still been kind of low over the past 4 or 5 weeks or so. Week 2, we still see a little bit of a wetter than normal signal, 40% such across western Iowa. Similar little feature down here into Arkansas and back into eastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina. Elsewhere, the signals are not quite as strong until you get to the Front Range of the Rockies. It's drier than normal by 40, 50% likelihood that the model comes in that way for week 2, days 8 to 14. Again, the ECMWF ensemble mean. And don't forget to sign up for our next grain market weather webinar. We thank everybody for joining us a couple of weeks ago for the June version. The July version is on the 16th, Wednesday the 16th at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. We appreciate everybody's positive feedback. We're so glad you found it instructive and relevant. Again, go to the website, CropProphet.com to sign up, and we will talk to you again on Monday morning.